Hey everyone, One Big Boss here. As you can tell by the title of the video that you clicked on, we're back for another episode of New to Retro Reviews. And today, we are looking at what I feel is almost a fever dream, and that couldn't really happen, but has. You know, when we played games when we were younger, there are many ones out there that kind of shape who we are today, or ones that we just have fond memories of. Maybe we played them with someone who's no longer with us. Maybe we played with friends that, you know, have moved away since then. Or maybe it's just with people that you're still friends with and around with today. And for me personally, that game was Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars. I remember the advertisement for this game back in the day, and it was kind of crazy to see that this was actually a reality. The people who make Final Fantasy are making an RPG with Mario characters. For me, this is something that I didn't think was ever going to be a possibility. And at the same time, I also thought, when I first saw it, what took them so long? Square and Nintendo have obviously gone hand in hand, like, you know, lamb and tuna fish, if anybody actually gets that joke, you know, 10 bucks to you. But it's really a game that, you know, you're kind of shocked it didn't happen earlier because, well, Square and Nintendo, as I said, have worked very well together for many years. And so now we actually have this here. And back then, my mind was blown playing this. Being able to play as Mario and friends in an RPG format in this strange yet wonderful world that takes a lot of things from the Mario games that we love and throw it into this 3D RPG world with quirky characters, great fight mechanics, and just all around a good time. And that's kind of what we want from our video games, right? Well, for years, gamers pleaded with Nintendo and Square for a sequel or a remake, and while it felt like it was never going to happen, spiritual successors in the form of the Paper Mario series and the Mario and Luigi games did happen, and many of them were really good. A lot of people really liked those, including me. I thought a lot of them were fantastic. But there was just something missing, and it was a remake of Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars. Well, here we are in 2023, and, well, when the first trailer dropped when they were advertising this game, I lost it. Shut the fuck up! No! No! They fucking did. This isn't real! Did Nintendo and Square... Oh my god, they did it! They made up! They're back! No! Oh my god, man! We've been asking like 20-something years for... I'm fucking crying, man. Like... It looks so good! Ah! I literally didn't think that this could ever be a reality. It's one of those things where you feel that at this point, it's a lost cause. It's never going to happen. This fever dream you want is never going to be a real thing. And then the gaming world dropped this, okay? Nintendo dropped this and nobody knew about it. I didn't see any leaks. I didn't see nobody talking about it. And that's the way I love my games. And we got that remake in the form of just Super Mario RPG. Not sure why they're not calling it Legend of the Seven Stars anymore, but either way, this game is absolutely amazing. And you know what? I'm gonna tell you guys right now, go buy this. Sure, it's got some issues, don't get me wrong, but there's so much to love in this game. So much that I personally recommend that you go out and buy this. Don't buy it used, buy it directly from Nintendo so we can get a proper sequel from this in the future. But I guess it wouldn't be much of a review if I didn't actually talk about this game and why it's so good and some of the little flaws that are with it. Because again, the problems I do have with this game are very minuscule. You will not have to worry about me ripping into this like a hungry hyena. I am going to praise this game, but I also just really want to talk about it because I assume that's why you guys are here as well. So, does this remake hold up? Because it's a scary world we live in. When we hear remake or remaster, sometimes it's just a quick cash in. Sometimes people just don't understand the game that they're working on. And then sometimes a remake is more so a reimagining in many ways in the world that we live in now. So, you need a reason to stick around and buy this game. Oh, please do take a listen because this is the review for Super Mario RPG for the Nintendo Switch. Let's get into it. As I said earlier, the word remake really scares a lot of people, and rightfully so. A lot of games have come out as remakes, but sometimes they are more reimaginings of a game, or, well, as the name says, they are a faithful remake. And the team behind this was a dev called Art Piazza. I think I'm saying that name right. And you might be wondering, why isn't Square handling this? Well, honestly, I could see why people would be worried about that. But this team has actual strong ties to Square themselves, as they worked on a handful of the Dragon Quest games and were tasked to handle this remake. And they must have taken something out of Capcom's book, much like what they did with the OG RE1 remake. And Mario RPG is a fresh coat of paint with nothing really lost and everything gained. Okay, there's some things that have been changed, and trust me, that list is way too long to go. We'd be here for like 3 hours, as much as I can talk about this game for probably 5 hours. But it's mainly names that just got switched up, so it won't really bother you that much. But the real question you're probably asking is, how is the gameplay? Is this turn-based style working in 2023? And I'm here to tell you, yes. Yes, it is. It's pretty much like it was before in your basic setup of the original RPG, but this time around, time hits and a few things are a little bit different. And while nothing's really been taken away, you've been given newer gameplay mechanics to help you win in a fight. One of the new mechanics of this is the action gauge. It's given to the players to help them in battle, and by performing the action commands perfectly, or timed hits as we used to call them back in my day, the gauge will fill up, and once filled, you are able to use the new triple move where you and 3 team members come together to unleash a devastating attack, or ones that can heal and protect the party. I feel this kind of breaks the game a little bit, but we'll talk about that a little bit later in this review. Also, with this gauge, you can make it grow faster by doing chain/completing attacks perfectly. Timed hits kind of stuff, right? Chains also bring in the new ally buffs. This is a really cool mechanic that I think is, well, neat for this game because it changes up things, but not dramatically. So every member of the team has a buff. Some will be for magic, physical, defense, magic, you name it, it's going to be there. For every successful chain, you gain further buffs, allowing you to turn the tide of battle. But these only work if the character is in the party and not switched out or down for the count. So be very wary, but the more you successfully do these chains, the more the buffs will work for you. And speaking of switching, another new mechanic has been added to this game, and now the fact of it is, you don't have to worry about which characters stay out of a fight. Despite, like the original, they still share EXP even when not fighting, but now you can actually swap teammates out anytime in battle. So, say you were going up against somebody with magic weaknesses, or so you thought, but then they're immune to magic, you just switch out someone like Mallow and bring in someone like Bowser for the physical attacks to take these guys out. Something like that is what I really love about this. It really gave me a flashback to Final Fantasy X when you could just swap out all the characters like anytime their turn came up, and that's kind of how this game works. It really was interesting because back in the day when I was a kid, the team that I mainly ran with was Mario, Geno, and Bowser because I just wanted to power through the game, and well, that's what I did. But in this one, I really got to create cool combinations a lot more. I got to work with characters and their ally buffs, and made some battles easier. It made me think, oh, okay, I don't need this character right now. Let me swap them out and save them. This is the stuff that I really love that they did with this game. They really just went through and be like, okay, this is what we're going to add to it, and it works. But again, I think there's also some issues with this. We'll get a little bit more into that, like I said, in this review a bit later. Another interesting aspect of the battle system is that stronger enemy varieties, or special enemies as they're classified, do show up in battle. You don't know by just simply running them on the world map. You actually will know it when you get right into the actual battle itself, where you see the name, and their name is now yellow, which indicates it is a special enemy. These enemies are tougher than the regular selves, but upon beating them, you get extra coins, EXP, and you will always get a frog coin out of this. Usually when you got a frog coin back in the day, it was by finding it on the world map. Now, because of these, you're getting the frog coins. And honestly, I think this is kind of a neat little thing that they threw in as well. I don't think it really breaks the game, and I kind of wish there was more than just one of these enemies in a match, right? That'd be kind of cool, because you can only ever get one in a match. But overall, still a nice little addition to this game. The world of Super Mario RPG got a massive upgrade in terms of its looks, and this game is far better than the original in terms of its graphics. And Well, let me just say right now, the original game, it still holds up very well. It's still an interesting piece of technology for the era that it came out in. And honestly, I played it a few months ago on my Twitch, and, well, it's absolutely amazing back then and even now. But the new colors really help make this world pop on new graphics, and just look at the haziness of the Mushroom Forest, the dimming yellow lights of the mine in Moville, the lights coming from the window in the Chancellor's Chambers in the Mushroom Kingdom. The team did their research and took what worked in the old game and used the graphics of today to give it that clean look, and let me tell you, this entire time I played the game, nothing looked ugly or out of place. The original Mario RPG kind of had that. Sometimes the game didn't look as good with the 3D that they were trying to go with, but overall, it's an absolute beautiful gem this time around. It's so magnificent and well placed together. Areas like Star Hill become a tranquil and peaceful place more than it ever so was before, with its cosmic lighting coming down. The lighting and heat from the volcano can be felt in every room. This game just screams excellence with its looks, and colorful cast of characters from friends and enemies is always charming, and you will always have something to laugh at over and over again as you did as a kid when these characters get together. Playing this game really brought back a lot of great memories when I played this as a kid with my cousins, my buddy Luke, and my best friend Stick. He and I cracked hardcore on this game a lot. So much at one point when he borrowed the game from me for like a whole 3-4 days. I didn't hear from him. And he kind of did the South Park thing before it was a thing about farming and killing boars for 1 EXP. He trained Mario to have Super Flame. By the time he reached the first boss, which is the Hammer Brothers essentially, if you don't count the battle with Bowser in the Keep. It's weird even how, though it's a remake, I'm loving what it's giving me. It really helped me connect back to those times in the 90s when it came out, and in the 2000s as a kid when I just kept playing with my buddies, and even only a couple of years ago when I played it again, and then obviously playing it again a few months back. This game really has a special place in my heart, and I'm really happy that the team seems to understand that we can't mess this up. We have to do this right, and with gameplay and graphics like I've talked about so far, they've got it. They understood the assignment and they did it right. Okay, so you're probably wondering at this point, what is the good and what is the bad in this game? I've already been praising it enough as it is, but I know a lot of you are out there like, oh, he's saving something. This guy is Mr. Critical, Mr. Negative. He always has to pick something apart. What is he waiting for? What bomb is he going to drop? And, well, honestly, guys, I gotta level with you. You know me for being real with my reviews, and as much as I am telling you to go out and buy this game, there is a little bit of a problem. And the fact of it is that it is far easier than the original. The original was sort of a beginner's RPG for people who liked Mario but may never have played an RPG before, like Earthbound or Final Fantasy, Chrono Trigger, or even something like Secrets of Mana. So yeah, I know why the original game was easy to begin with, because the original level cap was 30, and, well, that is still present here as well. But there's also a breezy mode, and to be honest, normal felt like breezy, because I knocked enemies around so easily, especially from doing the attacks right. There's another thing that I didn't talk about earlier in the review for the gameplay, but if you do the timed hits the right way, a shockwave sends out an attack and you hit surrounding enemies. So again, it makes it even easier. And the action gauge really breaks the game and boss battles too. In fact, well, no boss ever beat me in this. Except for Culex, but I just wanted to see what that was like when I first got there, knowing I wasn't going to win. I mean, in fact, the final boss himself, Smithy, he didn't even transform into his giant treasure box head. I beat him before that came out. Now, maybe it's not in this version of the game. Maybe they took that out. But honestly, if they didn't, that battle was way easier than the original. And I feel that's something that can hurt this game for a lot of long-time players, because I also feel that this game, while they probably want new fans to come in and try it out, I feel this was made specifically for the people who never stopped championing for this game over the last, 20 years for a remake or a re-release or a sequel. I think that that's what this is right here at its core, and it's just too easy of a game. I mean, the gauge even fills up too fast at sometimes, and I don't know, I just never really found a good challenge battle-wise. I had fun challenges, don't get me wrong, but battle-wise, when it came to the actual challenge of it, it just wasn't there. The fun factor was, but they really needed to let you unlock a hard mode to this, because this was something that really needed it. This was something that they just could have gone in and tweaked and made enemies a lot more difficult. So for that, yeah, that is what is wrong with this game, essentially. And to be honest, if that is all that's wrong with this, that's great, because the rest of the game is a fun ride from start to finish. But aside from that, a little bit of bad here and there is not going to ruin this game. It is still thoroughly enjoyable. The mini games have returned and they are just as fun as before. Although it's weird that this time around the Goomba thumping, because of how Mario kind of controls in this game, he's not as tight controlling as he was in the first one, but it's definitely not a terrible thing. You can adjust to it, but I found myself struggling to do the Goomba thumping when in the old game I was a champ at it. However, you go to Yoshi's Island, which is soon after that place, and I was able to beat the Yoshi race on my second try. I won back the island and the races from Boshi, and I could never do that in the original. My best friend always had to be the one to beat Boshi in the races. I don't know if it was just better controlling programming at that point, but that was something for me where I was excited to try and play that. So yeah, you gotta love what they did with this right here. Also, we have to talk about Miss Yoko Shimomura herself and the new music that she made for this, which is just a remix of her original masterpiece of a score, is incredible. And I realize I probably screwed up her name too, so I do apologize if she ever sees this video. People screw up my last name all the time. I know how annoying it can be, so I do apologize. But the music here is fantastic. It still fits the world if you choose the original track with the new graphics, because that's an option you're given, remixed or original. Now, a lot of people are going to be like, well, what do I play, Tony? What do I do to really get that experience that you have? And I'm going to say this. If you are a newcomer to Super Mario RPG, like this is your first time you've ever played the game, you never played the original, but you're playing the remake first, then play with the remixed version, because I listened to that soundtrack and I switched it on a couple times when I was doing some side recordings of the game, and it worked perfectly. It was so beautiful and well done, in my opinion. And if you're a veteran player like me, play the game a second time with the remix version, but use the original version if this is your playthrough and you've already played the original game and now you're coming to this one like I did. That is the best way I can say to go about doing this, because that is the best way to experience the game from veteran players and new players. It's just the best. Also, props for this team for giving a damn and adding bonus content once you've beaten the game. Yeah, there's more to do when you beat this game. Now, of course, there was kind of that in the original game as well. It wasn't that bad, you know, obviously. But this one is way different because the original did not have this. This is kind of like, another example for Resident Evil Remake is Resident Evil Remake had good replay value. And it added a mode that was in there that the old game didn't have with the invisible zombie mode. Well, this one's got a brand new boss mode where you go back and you fight the bosses of the game again. And it's not just, you know, oh, like I'll go here and there's just a wave of them. No, there's a whole scene that plays out, and there's a reason why Mario has to go back to Star Hill at one point, and it seems new wishes are popping up, and then going to Frog Fuchsius, or Frog Sage as he's called in this, which again, I don't know why they switched that, but this is what I'm talking about of content. He tells you where to go, and you have to refight enemies you fought before, and they are way tougher than they ever were before. This is like secret boss level tough, okay? And some of the fights aren't even direct all-out fights. Yes, it is a battle, but you have to go about it in a different way than you did before for some of these fights, and it's incredible. The way they did this works so damn well. And there's a boss battle that comes up at one point in this, and I'm not going to ruin it. I'm not going to talk about it here. I want you guys to go experience this for yourself, because this is something that freaking blew my mind away when I played this. When I did this battle, I was so happy. I was shocked to death, but I was so happy with what I was playing. Again, it just kind of cements itself as a remake done right, a way that you should do remakes, and it's got a lot of love and a lot of attention thrown into it. And even with the negatives that I've talked about, this game is still absolutely amazing. and I really want you guys to go out and play this because it's just that damn good. And so there it is, my review of Super Mario RPG for the Nintendo Switch. And I'm going to tell you guys this, like I said at the beginning, go buy this. Buy 2 copies if you can, okay? Show Nintendo and Square we want a sequel to this, because after what they did in this game, I think a sequel would be absolute. There is so much legacy packed in this game's history from the original and here itself, and I just love this. And one of the things that I got when I was streaming, and you know, people were messaging me about it afterwards, saying that I just looked really happy when I was playing it, and that it was a kind of joy you don't see a lot from people these days. And that's what this game did, because you guys, again, you got to remember, this game itself meant a lot to me as a kid. So to see it get a remake and properly done, again, that doesn't happen all the time in this day and age. Sometimes we get good remakes, other times we get bad remakes, other times we just get companies that have no idea what they're doing with the IPs they have. But this one meant a lot, and I really felt that I was back being a kid, playing the original with my friends, with my cousins, and that's what the new game did. This game itself is amazing, and the remake, it's just as equally amazing. To be honest, if I have to choose which one's better, I think they're tied. That's how I feel about this game. So please go buy Super Mario RPG, and maybe this, some of you have kids, maybe this can be memories for them too. Maybe you can share the memories with them of playing the original by playing the remake with them. Anything's possible, and I hope that you guys go and support this game because it's absolutely incredible. So with that being said, please thumbs up and subscribe because it's free, and this day and age, free is a damn good thing. As always, I want to thank you for watching. I'm One Big Boss, and I will see you all next time. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. If you could give this video a thumbs up and a share, helps the channel out big time. Give me a follow on Twitter and Discord where I'm most active. Links down below in the description. Also, I stream on Twitch, so if you'd like to see me play a bunch of new to retro games, well, click down below, give it a follow, greatly appreciate it. Till next time guys, be safe, and have a good one.